There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe.
Lady Gaga.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful, how are you?
I'm wonderful too.
Good.
Can we talk about your new album?
Yes, we can.
Let's do it, okay. I haven't heard it all, I wasn't allowed to hear it all, but I've heard a couple, obviously I've heard the singles, but I heard a couple of album tracks just downstairs before I was allowed into your boudoir. And it strikes me that the kind of overall feel of the album, it's like a really good night out. Like the kind of night where you're doing tequila shots at 4 in the morning, that kind
Well,
of night.
thank you. That's exactly how I wanted it to sound. I wanted to make an album that you would pop right into your record player, CD player, iPod, whatever it is that you choose, play it start to finish, and celebrate yourself.
Excellent. One of the tracks that I got to hear is called Hair. And the lyric in it is, I'm as free as my hair. Well, I don't know where it leaves me, probably in jail, but...
That's okay. You have it. See, you're even freer without hair.
Even freer. But I took that to mean, my interpretation of it, hearing it once, was that, you know, you're the master of your own reinvention. You can change your hair, your clothes,
right.
whatever, and be whoever you want to be. Am I correct in assuming
You're
that?
absolutely correct. And also, you know, it's just sort of another way of hammering home the overarching theme of the album, which is that you're not born just once. You're reborn over and over again as many times as you like. And when you're young, and I'm still young and so are you, your hair is your glory or your ability to change, whether it be something psychological or something emotional, or your clothes or your hair or your makeup or whatever it is that you want to change. The song is a metaphor, and for me, as put on as many wigs and hats and shoes as you like until you find the ones that best fit you, and then fight to the death for that identity for the rest of your life.
I saw the interview that you did for Google about 2 months ago or so, and you said one of the things that people never ask you, or journalists never ask you, is how you are. It was interesting to me because you said that you think that, you know, the clothes and the makeup and the look tends to sort of distract people from the fact that there is a person in there, you know. But I watched that and it made me think, well, wasn't part of the reason that you constructed such a strong and such a striking persona actually to protect yourself from the outside world? It wasn't that.
No. I always had something inside of me that I knew was bigger and more theatrical than what I was, especially when I was in high school. I felt like there was something more, and I loved theater so much. I loved doing plays, I loved being in bands and in jazz band and singing, and it was when I left school and I moved out and I got my own job and I was able to live by myself that I really found the ability to express my true identity, who I truly am. And no, it is not armor. It's self-expression. It's art, fantasy. See, that's exactly what I want to combat with this album. This idea that things that are fantastic are artificial or put on or a barrier. I want to annihilate that entirely and posture to the world. There's magic in reality. There's magic everywhere. And the edge of glory is so fine between those two things.
There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe.
Obviously, Twitter in particular is a great way for you to have a direct communication with fans, but you still seem to maintain a mystique, a kind of old school mystique. Is that something you do consciously, you know, to keep yourself?
I always find that very funny. People always say that to me. They say there's a mystique about you, but I feel that I'm quite an open book about things, and I'm very honest about my life and where I've been and what I've been through. More than anything, I hope that it is just my artistic authenticity that you are smelling.
You're here in the UK, obviously. You're playing the Radio 1 Big Weekend. What is it? How do your UK fans kind of stand out from fans elsewhere in the world?
Well, what's nice about Monsters is that they are connected. So in a lot of ways, they're not very different. and it is home for me when I'm around them. But I felt a very sweet and very particular love from them today, and I actually went down outside the hotel and brought them cookies and flowers because I felt so bad, because I've been up here all day doing press, and it is important to do press for your album. I believe in working hard. I love working hard. It's important to me that I fight for my record. But then there was also a part of me that thought, well, they're going to wait downstairs all day long for hours and hours, and I'll be up here knowing that they're there. So I just went down quickly and gave them some macaroons and a couple roses.
Okay, well, Lady Gaga, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you about the internet, actually, because I don't think any artist has harnessed the power of the internet quite as completely as you've done. Obviously, there's Twitter, but you know, all the views on YouTube and all the rest of it. Do you think the kind of fame and the kind of influence that you have would have been possible without the internet?
I don't know. I suppose I would have found another way to communicate with my fans, but it is all how you use the internet. It's about what you make of it. Between talking about my record and communicating with my fans and staying connected to the community of Monsters, which in essence on the internet exists entirely outside of pop music. It has almost nothing to do with the music industry. Little Monsters has become a culture all on its own that has nothing to do with charts and singles and albums. But also political activism and mobilizing as many people on the internet as I can to be involved with voting or being aware of what's happening in the government in the U.S. I think it's just how you use it. You know, there is also an element of fame and narcissism and hubris associated with the internet and having the ability to speak to so many people so instantly all the time. So I think if you have the voice, you need to use it wisely, and I hope I do.
There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe.
You know, the amount of Twitter followers you've got, I think you're coming up to 10 million now, nearly there.
I think that, you know, it might be by tomorrow or tonight. It might
close.
happen.
Yeah, it's close. But I suppose the question I wanted to ask you is, do you feel, because you know, you call yourself Mother Monster, you know, with all your little monsters.
The fans call me Mother Monster.
Do they? Okay. But is there a sense in which that's a responsibility? You know, you've got so many millions of people around the world hanging with your every word.
Absolutely, it's a responsibility. And also, you know, in terms of the album, it's funny when you say this is something you've been kind of going on about for a while. I've been going on about it in my shows and in interviews, but not in my music. This album was the opportunity for me to put my money where my mouth is, to take the experience of the Monster Ball and my relationship with my fans and make it into a musical experience that will hopefully infiltrate party culture the way that my first two albums have. The fans are my whole world.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's such an integral part of what you do, the relationship with your fans. I was going to ask you, if your audience were just to disappear overnight, would you still make music for yourself, for your own pleasure, or does the fan element have to be there?
No, I would still be making music. I always say, if nobody knew who I was, I would still be in a bar in New York City playing piano, writing records. But I don't make music just for myself. I don't know quite how to explain it, where I get my nerve from. I have this impulse to create. I must create. But now that I have the fans, if you look at the album cover, half woman, half motorcycle, I'm now not just a vehicle for my own voice, but I'm the vehicle for their voice as well.